Good morning, great Americans. This is another great American video. I will try to keep this video short. Recently, I wrote a brief that I posted on our Substack page. It is called The Strategic Imperative for U.S. Ownership of Greenland. The Strategic Imperative for U.S. Ownership of Greenland and ownership as a national security necessity. I'm going to put a link to that in the description of this video so you can read it. If you want to read it first before uh, watching the rest of this video, that might be good. It's very short. But this video is a quick follow-up. I didn't want to write a full part two because I just have a few extra thoughts which came to me after writing the video, after writing the brief, and so I just thought I'd make a quick video to add on. But we'll call this part two anyway. The strategic imperative for U.S. ownership of Greenland, part two. So here are my additional thoughts to add on to uh, that article. First of all, colonialism. Who likes colonialism? I mean, we America was once a colony of Great Britain. Portugal and Spain and others, and even France had colonies in our hemisphere, and we pretty much got rid of them all. But somehow Europe managed to hang on to a colony in Greenland. Why did we allow that? I don't know, but it doesn't really matter because it's history now. But still, you know, defending Danish ownership of Greenland is defending old world European colonialism. Has anybody really given that any thought? Now, yes, I know that technically, in 1958, Greenland went from being a colony to actually being part of Denmark. But then after that, they ended up giving autonomy back to Greenland. So really, even though its status is different, it is still, for all intents and purposes, a European colony. We don't need that in North America. So I just want people to think about that when you defend the Danes in Greenland, you're just defending the same old fashioned European colonization that liberals usually hate when they're talking about history, right? Oh, the Europeans came here and destroyed the paradise and the blah blah blah, right? And so that's just something to mull over, just something to just a little added, weight to add to Trump's argument. Of course, that has nothing to do with Trump's argument of taking Greenland, but it's certainly an element to keep in mind. But this second part here is the bigger picture that I want you to think about. After World War One, but more importantly, and more especially after World War Two and World War Two, World War Two and the rebuilding of Europe after World War Two and the protection of Europe during the Cold War, which was post World War Two, for like 70 some odd years, and still today, the United States spilled blood and uncounted treasure, uncounted billions and trillions of dollars, either fighting World War II or rebuilding Europe after World War II or defending Europe after World War II during the Cold War. The blood and the cost and the treasure of the war and the rebuilding and the Cold War are just so enormous that it is unbelievable. Never in the history of mankind has one nation spent so much to be helpful friends, to help others as we have done for Europe. Europe owes us a debt so enormous and so colossal that it cannot even fathom. And I don't think, and it's people, I wonder if it's people ever really stop to think about, because World War II and the destruction that followed, which we repaired, and then the Cold War that followed that, they are all children of Europe. They were all Europeans against Europeans, right? World War II was Germany and Italy against France and England, but it's Europeans against Europeans. And then in the Cold War, I mean, Moscow is in Europe. Okay, the Russian leaders are Europeans. Now, I realize that Russia straddles Europe and Asia, and it's in both continents. I get that. I get that. But technically speaking, if you have to classify Russia and the Soviet Union before that, you'd have to classify it as a European country because it's ruled by, I mean, Russians are basically a European people. They're Eastern Europe, Slavs, like the Poles and Polish people and the Yugoslavians and the Slavs and all that kind of stuff. But they're still Europeans. So it has always been Europe against Europe. It has always been solely a European problem. And some Europeans like to talk as if they speak on behalf of all Europeans. But in fact, no European actually speaks on behalf of all Europeans, right? They all have their own, point of view. But my point is that between World War II and the rebuilding of Europe and then the protection of Europe for 70 some odd years after that, and even still today with the Ukraine and all that, the United States has spent, I don't think we could even calculate the blood. Well, you sure you can't calculate. There's no price on the blood that we spilled. But the treasure, the money we have spent over all those decades, Europe owes us a debt that they can never repay. And we've never really asked for anything. We did it because we are a great, exceptional nation. But now things are changing. In the North Pole, for people who understand strategy, who understand shipping lanes, how shipping lanes are changing with technology and things are growing in the North Pole, submarine technology. I mean, submarines can leave Russia and come to North America underneath the ice without ever surfacing. And the missiles, I mean, a lot of people don't really think, but missile trajectories from like Russia to America or even China to America, they cross the pole because that's the shortest route. But anyway, so for the first time ever, after all these years and all the blood we spilled for them and all the trillions, maybe even quadrillions of dollars we spent for them, we asked for one thing in return. And what do? They want to attack us. French President Macron wants to call up his military and attack us. The Europeans can't defend the Ukraine, but they sure can apparently send troops to Greenland to attack us. Some European jackass, I don't forget what his name is, recently said, the world has had enough of Trump. Fuck you, you Euro trash. You don't speak for the world. And so think about that. We don't want Greenland because it's some beautiful vacation spot. It's a block of fucking ice. We don't want Europe we don't want Greenland so that we can expand our farmlands, right? It's a block of fucking ice. The only reason we need Greenland is for future world and global security. Denmark can't provide it. Is Denmark going to start building ballistic missile interception facilities? No. Are the Europeans? No, they spend their money on wine and cheese, the fat ass cowards. No, only the United States provides global security for free nations and democracies and republics. So, after all these decades of spilling all that blood and spending money that I don't think we could even count, we say we need one thing, and this is how we are treated. I say, fuck Europe. Here's what I say. I say, take all of our troops out of NATO. Let the fuckers defend themselves. Why should we always be holding their fucking hands? And they're like little kids in a playpen beating each other up. And we're like the adult always like keeping them apart. Why should we do that? Let them fucking beat each other up. Fuck them. After what we have done for them to treat us and treat Trump the way they're doing, fuck them. I say, take it, save all those million. Look, we're 30. How much are we in debt? We're $40 trillion in debt. Take all that money out of NATO, put it towards our debt. Let the fucking cheese-eating, fat-ass bastards defend themselves and put those troops on Greenland and dare the little bastards to come and take it. That's really where I'm at. Fuck Europe. Fuck Macron. The dude's married to a tranny, and now he wants to attack America after we say, do you know, let me throw in a little World War II tidbit for you here in case you don't know about it. You know, basic World War II history reminds us that Hitler did conquer France. The lazy bastards. They couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. You know, we say that Hitler took France, but here's the truth. Read the details of World War II. In fact, Hitler only took over, he invaded and occupied the northern 2/3 approximately of France. Southern France established a government called Vichy France. And Vichy France were the allies of the Nazis. Damn, that's right. Did you know that in World War II, when Hitler invaded France, Southern France established its own government and became an ally with Hitler just to save its own ass? Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine that? You know what I could imagine? I could imagine it would be like China or Russia invading Texas and Florida. Let's see. Imagine for a minute. I know this is crazy, but imagine for a minute that Russia and China somehow were able to come up through the Gulf of America and invade Texas and Florida. Let's just say, just for fun, let's say they invaded Texas and Florida. They took over Texas and Florida, right? And then all the Democrats who run California and the East Coast, they said, oh, guess what? You can have Texas and Florida, and we're going to be your allies, so please don't invade us. They would do it. The fucking pieces of shit Democrats, they would do it. I have no doubt in my mind that they would do it. And that's exactly what the French did. The French did in World War II. So these fucking French have never been anything but pieces of shit. And this Macron wants to attack America now, simply because for the very first time, after we saved his country and we rebuilt his country and we protected his country throughout the Cold War, he wants to attack us simply because we need something. For the first time, we need something from them, and they want to attack us. I say, fuck them all. I say, get out of NATO, let them defend themselves, let's take Greenland, let's just establish a fortress in the Western Hemisphere and say, you guys can all fight over your side of the world. I hope you all kill each other. All right, I hope you all get fucking COVID. And then here in the Western Hemisphere, the United States will reign supreme, and you know, and then we'll be friends with our friends of the Pacific Rim, like Japan and South Korea and Philippines and all those good folks. I'd say that would be a great new world order. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there that the idea that they would become so belligerent uh, against us after everything we've done for them, after spilling our blood in World War II, after rebuilding their devastated continent, after protecting them for over 70 years during the Cold War, then we ask for one simple thing, and this is how they treat us. I say, fuck them, get out of NATO, let them defend themselves. If Putin is able to roll through Germany, then let him have it. Third time, fuck you. We take Greenland, we have the Western Hemisphere. I'm cool with that. Anyway, that's my rant, man. I mean, I'm just, these fuckers, I don't think we're, people, you know what, man? I mean, it's just, it's a world gone mad. The KKK is back in the Democrat Party. They're attacking churches just like they did in the old days. They have lost their minds. It's a world gone mad. And the only people in this world who make any sense at all are the people who are part of the Make America Great Again movement. Everybody else is an asshole. It's just a fact. Which is why, before I close out this video, I'm going to remind you that Trump needs you in these 2026 midterm elections. He needs you to do all the effort that some of you really put in a lot of work to get Trump elected in 2024. He needs you to do the same. In fact, he needs you to double those efforts in 2026 during the midterm elections. This year is the big midterm elections. And he needs a better Congress to work with, which means he needs all of you to get Republicans voted up and down the tickets. So that's what we have to do if we're going to save America. So that's it for today. Please check out the link. As I mentioned, the link to part 1 of this video, which is a written brief, is in the description of this video. Please share it. I'd appreciate it. Please share this video. I would appreciate it. And I will see you in the next Great American Video. Adios, muchachos.